here I've got my sample swatch that we're pretending is a whole mitten, or we could actually pretend it's a fingerless glove, and we're going to put a thumb in it though, so we're going to leave it with no fingers. If it was a real mitten, we would have continued up, of course, and made the tip. But this is what I suggested to you last week in the video on making the opening to the thumb, which is to take the stitches that are indicated in the chart or instructions and put them on a piece of scrap yarn, and then use backward loop cast on above the hole. So first thing we're going to do is get these stitches onto a needle. So we just pull the scrap yarn out and run a needle into them. You can put the needle in before you pull the scrap yarn out if you're a little nervous, or you can pull the scrap yarn out and then pick up the stitches. It's up to you. I usually do the former because I don't want to have to worry about dropping anything. Okay, so there I have that on the bottom. No yarn on it yet. Didn't join the yarn. That's okay, because I'm just picking up live stitches. Now we have to get stitches across the top, and then we're also going to pick up one stitch right here and one stitch right here. These are extra stitches so we don't have a hole at the side of the thumb later. We will decrease those away on the first full round. So I'm going to turn this way because it's easier for me, and I'm using double points, but if you're using magic loop or 2 circulars, you can use your second section all the way across. I'm going to have 2 needles here. So I'm going to pick up one stitch on the edge, just go dive right through under the stitch on the edge in the corner. I'm going to grab my yarn and pull it up and knit it. Don't want to pull in anything extra from the back of the work, so just be a little careful. Again, put the needle through, wrap your working yarn around it as if to knit, regular knitting, pull it through. You can use a crochet hook also if you find it difficult. Now we had, I didn't count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In this pattern, I had 7. You might have 10, you might have 12. I have 7. So I want to get 7 across here. So I'm going to do the same thing and picking up stitches, but I'm going to go right into these diagonal pieces that are from the cast on. And if we look, before I start picking up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can count them first, and we're going to pick up 7 stitches across there. So because I'm working on double points, I'm going to pick up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to get another needle, pick up 3 more, and then I'm going to pick up a stitch in the corner. So 1, 2, 3, and then the extra stitch right there on the edge. Make sure you go behind a spot that's not going to make a hole. So if I go right there, it looks like it's going to make a hole. So I'm going to go down a little further and pick up a stitch. Some stitches are looser than others and so forth. And even if it makes a little hole, you're going to have to weave in your end from joining your yarn. So don't do a short one like I did on my sample. Leave at least 6 or 10 inches so that you can use it for tightening things up. And now we're just going to knit in the round. Remember I said we're going to get rid of those extra stitches in the corners first. So if you're knitting in 2 colors, you would add your second color and follow your chart. I'm just knitting in 1 color. And so I'm just going to go around, and now I have those extra stitches that I picked up in the corners back here. So I'm just going to knit 2 together in those 2 corners and get rid of them. So first one is at the beginning of the needle, so I'm going to knit 2 together, and then I have 4 stitches left on this needle. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I go on to my last part of the round, and I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to knit 2 together. That's that extra stitch. 3. Okay, and now I've got 14 stitches, which is 2 times what I had. I had 7 that I put on hold and 7 from the top. And now I just knit around and around until the thumb's almost long enough, and I'll have a little decreasing at the top. So you can see that I've got on double points so I can make a triangle, but if you had 2 circulars or magic loop, you would have just 2 sections just like that. One other thing I want to mention is if your whole hand is knit in Colorwork, just make sure that your thumb is coming out the right size if you knit it in a single color of yarn. If you stay with the same size needles and you switch from Colorwork to a single color of yarn, your thumb might be coming out too big. So you may want to go down in needle size for the thumb. If you have Colorwork on the hand and you're making a solid color thumb. Now here, this one it's very simple, but it's Colorwork on the hand and Colorwork on the thumb. And so it would not require changing needle size for something like that. But if you were going to go like on this one from Colorwork on the whole hand to a solid color, keep an eye on it, or just by default switch to a smaller color, smaller needle. So this one also has what I said. This is like the one pattern that we have, the Color Me Warm, is actually very much like this design, except it has ribbing. It has ribbing on the cuff, but see how it changes to a solid color for the tip shaping, so that makes that shaping easier. And you can see the SSK and the knit two together that I mentioned in the other video. So that's all there is to that, and we will be talking soon.